Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday afternoon. A little late getting this video up, but let's get up now. So this the Saints have a big game, and the Saints have a big game this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As everybody knows, the Saints laid an egg last week against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta really pushed the Saints around all game. They dominated the game from start to finish. Whether the Saints were in the game or not, it's really it's a moot point because the Saints got pushed around that game. I mean, the Falcons hit them in the mouth all game long. The Saints didn't retaliate, and so the Falcons really it was 26-9 or whatever the hell the score was. I think 26-9, whatever. But it really wasn't that close. Yeah, it was 13-9 at one point, but I mean, you never really. Watching the game, I never really felt that the Saints were any kind of threat to score a touchdown because, for one, they never can get off the field on defense. They kept so give Atlanta a lot of credit last week because they kicked the Saints' butt last week. All right, so now we got a game against Tampa Bay. 3-6 Tampa Bay. Saints are 7-2, and I mean this game the Saints rarely ever play well over there in Tampa Bay. I kind of chalked this. I kind of thought this was the game that the Saints were going to play lackluster. I thought last week, going into the week, I thought the Saints would handle the Falcons. But I thought this was the week that they were going to have their hiccup game where they either win close or they lose. But since last week happened, I'll be surprised if the Saints come out 2 weeks in a row flat. I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if the Saints come out flat 2 weeks in a row. If they do, then there's some problems on that team. But the Saints are going to need they're going to need somebody else to step up from the receiver. I mean, we keep saying that, but nobody has stepped up past 2 years. We signed Des Bryant last year. He tore his Achilles, so that will never be known what would happen then. Should they go out and get Antonio Bryant? I don't know. Who knows? Even if he wants to play football, who knows? But the Saints, they're in desperate need for a second wide receiver to either step up on their team or they have to go out and get somebody. They're not gonna go far into the playoffs with just Michael Thomas. It's not gonna happen. His teams can just take him away. So, but he didn't get taken away last week. If you look at his stats, he's not the reason why they lost that game last week because he had a lot of yards receiving. So he wasn't the reason why they lost last week because he caught the ball last week. So the Saints are 7-2, Buccaneers are 3-6. Of course, Winston has 17 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Jones has 410 yards rushing on the year. Evans has 924. So we're going to be without Marshawn Lattimore. More than likely, he's out week-to-week basis. So I take that as like a 2 to 4 week injury. That's just my opinion. When they come out and say week to week, that just means he's going to be out more than a week. He's going to be out more than 2 weeks. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong on that. Hopefully I am. But Saints, we lost Andreas Pete, one of our offensive linemen, for 6 weeks. He broke his arm. That's gonna test our offensive line, depth. He hasn't played well, but if anybody saw the game last week, his replacement didn't play well either. So it is what it is with the Saints. So they got some injuries. They got some injuries to Andreas Pete. They have injuries to Marshawn Lattimore. So now they're gonna have other players just gonna have to step up and perform. It's what's gonna have to happen. As Bridgewater is still the leading passer for the Saints. But let's see, yeah. So Devontae Harris is questionable. Marshawn Lattimore is doubtful. I don't think he'll play. Demario Davis is questionable. Zach Lyons is questionable. That's all today. So I'm sure we'll hear more today on the injury report. If players don't practice today on Thursday, then usually they don't play. Usually don't play on Sunday. But if they practice on Thursdays, then more likely they're going to play. But so I think this is going to be a tough game for the Saints. They're favored by 5.5. I like that line. I think that line's accurate. But when I say tough, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be the Saints are going to win. I think it's going to be close. Saints win by 7, 8, 9, something like that. but I don't. Well, I think Tampa Bay is good enough to keep the Saints close, especially with Marshawn Lattimore out. Who's going to cover Mike Evans? I guess I'll put Eli Apple on Evans and see what Eli Apple can do. Eli Apple has played well for the Saints. You don't hear his name much called in the game, which is good. If you don't hear the cornerback's name called, it's usually a good sign. That means he's not getting beat. So the Saints, because the Buccaneers are giving up 31 points a game. They're scoring 28. The Saints are scoring 22, only getting up 20. So the Saints only scoring 22 points a game. It's very, very slow. Usually they score up in the 28s. But their defense carried them when Drew Brees was out. It was just different kind of game plan. At that time, it worked. So hopefully the Saints can get back to what they did against the Cardinals in the second half. Just when they were aggressive, they threw the ball, able to run the ball. I think they're still going to have to run Murray more than what they did. We only had 11 carries last week as a team. That's not getting it done. You can't throw the ball. You can't run the ball 11 times and throw it 50 and expect to win. I mean, that just doesn't happen because you're not controlling the clock. You're not controlling the game. You're not controlling the line of scrimmage. So the Saints are going to have to get back to when Latavius Murray was running the ball 20 times a game. Look at the Saints offense. They controlled the clock and they were winning. So I know they want to give the ball to Kamara. I know they want to do that, but I mean, you got to look at what worked in that 5-game stretch. When Drew Brees was out, what worked was what the Saints went to more of a little ball-controlled offense and let Murray run, 20 times a game. I know he can't do that now because Kamara's back, but there's got to be something that can be done on the offense where maybe Murray gets like 10 to 12 carries, and Kamara gets maybe 10, something like that. So I give you about 25 carries a game, which would be normal for the Saints. When the Saints get 25, 30 carries a game, they usually win the football game. If you go back and look at the history with Sean Payton. So I got the Saints winning this game. I'm gonna say 31-24. I'm gonna say a 7. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say a 7-point game. 31-24. I'm gonna say they're gonna do just enough on offense, and they're gonna intercept Winston a few times, and they're gonna win 31-24. And because the Saints need this game really. I mean, you don't want to fall 2 straight games to the Buccaneers and the Falcons last week because we got a tough game next week against Carolina at home. So we play Carolina at home next week. That's going to be a tough game. So this is a game I think the Saints need to go out there. They need to dominate the line of scrimmage. They need to just put the game last week behind them and just come out and play with some passion, man, because last week they played with no passion. I mean, Atlanta came out and punched them in the mouth, and the Saints just lay down. It's very, very surprising for the Saints to do that. So hopefully, like I said, the Saints can come out this Sunday and and come out and just play like they played those 5 weeks and that 1 week against Arizona when Drew Brees came back. I want to see that team this Sunday. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't done so, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the like button and ring the notification bell to get all notifications. Have a great one, guys. I'll talk to you later, and who dat?